Hi guys, it's the 5th of January 2020. This is just an update on the numbers and the media from the UK and other sources, just to give you a quick idea of what's going on. The Johns Hopkins map, total confirmed cases 24,597, total deaths 493, 479 of them are on mainland China, total recovered 942. The countries involved, or should I say with confirmed cases, 24,384 on mainland China, 25 in Thailand, 24 in Singapore, 22 in Japan, 18 in Hong Kong, 16 in South Korea, 13 in Australia, 12 in Germany, 11 in the US, 11 in Taiwan, 10 in Macau, 10 in Malaysia, 8 in Vietnam, 6 in France, 5 in the UAE, 4 in Canada, 3 in India, 2 in Italy, Russia, Philippines and the UK, Nepal, Cambodia, Belgium, Spain, Finland, Sweden and Sri Lanka all have 1. That's 25 countries now, guys. Yeah, not good. There's the cases in the US, dotted east to west. Yeah, and all that bit in the middle will get caught up eventually. Right, this is the Daily Mail from the UK. Why has Britain still not barred visitors who have been to China within the last 14 days? Fears of a spike in UK coronavirus cases as the US, Australia, New Zealand introduce strict rules. 4 direct flights are expected to arrive from China at Heathrow on Wednesday. This despite the Foreign Office advising against travel to China over coronavirus. US, Australia, New Zealand, Italy, Vietnam have all barred foreigners from China, but the government believes it can rely on a team of healthcare experts at Heathrow. There are fears of a huge spike in UK coronavirus cases as thousands of passengers continue to flood in the UK from China on scheduled flights. Despite the US, Australia, New Zealand, Italy, Taiwan and Vietnam barring foreigners' entry from China, hulking passengers, jets continue to land in Heathrow each day. The Foreign Office on Tuesday urged Britons to leave China, advising against all but essential travel to the virus-stricken country. However, thousands of Chinese continue to arrive daily. In addition to those returning home, foreigners can still arrive from China, with 4 jets landing at Heathrow tomorrow from Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, bringing it up to 1,200 passengers. It comes as the government announced a final repatriation jet was being chartered to bring back Britons from Wuhan, the epicentre of the virus, which has killed 490 and infected 20,000 more worldwide. Flights can still be booked out of Beijing to London. There is a direct option with Air China which takes 11 hours and 20 minutes to arrive at Heathrow. There are 2 flights coming into Heathrow from Beijing tomorrow. There is also the option of an Aeroflot route via Moscow which takes close to 15 hours, including layover in Russia. As for those arriving on commercial jets at Heathrow, the government says it has a team of public health experts at London Airport to support anyone travelling from China who feels unwell. These hubs will bring rotational teams of 7 clinicians working in shifts who will be on hand to support patients on arrival, the government says. China has also introduced port of exit screening so people already exhibiting symptoms are not allowed to leave the country. However, the government also say that most people who develop the symptoms will not get them until after they have left the airport. The government further advised that anyone who has travelled from the virus-stricken country in the last 2 weeks should remain indoors, call the NHS 111 if they feel unwell. The UK's recent step to order UK nationals to leave China follows in the footsteps of earlier moves made by other countries like the US. Indeed, the US State Department has ordered its citizens not to travel to China under any circumstances, while the British Foreign Office's instructions are merely advisory. Donald Trump declared the outbreak a public health emergency as he signed an order on Friday denying entry to the foreign nationals. US Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar said anyone who has been in China's Hubei province in the past 2 weeks will be subject to mandatory quarantine for 14 days. However, in the UK, the government only advises those who have been in Wuhan in the last 2 weeks to stay indoors and call 111. For those who have been elsewhere in China in the last 2 weeks, the government advises that they should not follow the same steps if they develop symptoms. Right guys, over to the BBC. 44 minutes ago, coronavirus, final UK flight to bring home Britons from Wuhan. Well, that's contradictory already. The UK government is chartering a final flight to bring back British nationals back from Chinese City at the centre of the coronavirus. It comes as Britons in mainland China have been urged to leave the country after the outbreak claimed more lives. More than 100 UK nationals and family members have already been evacuated to Britain from Wuhan. About 165 Britons are reported to remain in Hubei province, where the outbreak began, and 108 are believed to have asked the Foreign Office for help to leave. At least 427 people have died after contracting the virus, and there have been more than 20,000 confirmed cases, most of them in China. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said, "We have been working around the clock to help British nationals leave Hubei province on UK, French and New Zealand flights. The Foreign Office is chartering a second and final UK flight with space to help all British nationals and their dependents remain in Hubei to leave. I encourage all British nationals in Hubei to register with our teams if they want to leave on this flight." On Friday, 83 UK citizens were repatriated on a flight out of Wuhan arranged by the UK government. Another 11 Britons joined them on Sunday on a French flight. A further 8 UK nationals and 6 of their family members left on a flight to New Zealand on Tuesday. It has since emerged that a Belgian woman who was on Sunday's flight tested positive for the virus. All of the Britons are now in quarantine at Arrow Park Hospital in the Wirral for 14 days, the incubation period of the virus, to ensure they are not infected. One British passenger, Anthony May Smith, who arrived in the UK on Sunday, was taken to hospital in Oxford to be tested for the potential coronavirus. Health Secretary Matt Hancock told BBC Breakfast that the test came back negative, but that Mr May Smith has returned to quarantine at Arrow Park because the test doesn't work until the coronavirus symptoms come through. That is very important, guys. Did you just hear that? The test does not work for coronavirus until the symptoms come through. I mean, what kind of sentence is that to begin with? Mr Hancock advised anyone who thought they might have the symptoms not to leave home and call 111. Mr Hancock said it was low risk that an infected person who was not yet showing symptoms could pass on the virus, which we know is bollocks. There have been 2 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the UK, a student at the University of York and one of their relatives. They have been treated at the Specialist Infectious Disease Unit in Newcastle Royal Victoria Infirmary. Coronavirus fear hits London's Chinatown. UK pharmacies see sanitizer sales spike. Meanwhile, one British man in China who fears he contracted the virus in November has been told he can return to the UK after the Chinese authorities gave him his passport back. Jamie Morris, 23, of Tredegar in South Wales, had said he did not know when he might be able to return from Wuhan because he had submitted his passport in order to extend his residency permit. He will now be able to join other British nationals on the flight home. On Tuesday, the Foreign Office advised Britons to leave China to minimise the risk of exposure to coronavirus. The UK is also moving non-essential staff out from its embassy consulates in the country. The only 2 UK airlines serving China are British Airways and Virgin Atlantic. They've suspended their flights between the countries because of fears about the spread of the virus. But other commercial flights to the UK remain available to some parts of China. Oh, and just another point, guys. I was just watching the BBC News before I made this video, and as you can see there, coronavirus, top story. A load of people caught in the boat, but they completely ignored that. They went straight onto the David Cameron story, the number 2, which it was on the actual news, where he'd left his gun in the toilet and completely ignored the corona bit. So that to me again speaks volumes. Coronavirus, could it become a pandemic? This was done on the 3rd of February by Michelle Roberts, health editor at BBC News Online. New coronavirus has now reached more than 20 countries from China, where the epidemic or the disease outbreak began over a month ago. Experts are worried about how much further it could spread and how many people will get sick. A truly global outbreak or pandemic has not been declared yet, but officials are preparing for the possibility that this could be the next pandemic that the world will face. Right guys, that's enough for now. I've got more information regarding the last video I did last night, and I'll be doing that tonight because I've got a bit more homework to do. But you all take care, God bless. Thanks for your comments guys, thanks for watching. Please spread the news about. And again, any other researchers that want to come on board with me on this theory that I have about this being an ethnic bioweapon, feel free to contact me. Right guys, God bless, you all take care, bye for now.